Hello, wonderful people. It's my pleasure to welcome you to another edition of Q Sports on Ascent Television. My name is Jide Olano, and I've got two gentlemen with me today. We will be looking at the Q Sports. We'll be looking locally, and also we'll be going global too, as far as Q Sports is concerned. All right, let me welcome to my immediate right. Let me welcome Wale Osomo. Wale, it's my pleasure to have you on the show.
Hi, Jide. And hello to all the viewers.
And the usual suspect is here, Joaquin Idara, Grandmaster himself. Joe, good to have you.
It's nice being here with you once again.
Alright, gentlemen, let's kick off and by looking at, we'll start from the global scene now, or should I say from the foreign scene. The Mosconi Cup is here. It's just happening to me as far as I'm concerned, but I know you guys have just stumbled on it, courtesy of the Grandmaster, just like I said, and I enjoyed every bit of it. The European versus the Americans, and I must say, it was very good to see. There are times that they said there is nothing that tastes so good like a sweet victory. For the Europeans, they got what they deserved. They came back. And they took every one of the Americans to the cleaners, and I must give it to them. I got from records, I got to know that the Americans won the last edition and even the previous one. But it's good to see the Europeans back. Nibor, Pole, and they're back to show that it is back home.
Yes, I'm really pleased about Europe winning. I'm a strong fan of the Europeans.
Okay.
Anything Europe against America, I'm always rooting for Europe. It also applies to golf. So that Europe would come and really demolish America, which is literally the bastion of 9-ball pool. And Europe would do that to them. I was pretty excited about it. And I'm sure it's going to happen for a long time to come. And I wish I could go and play for Europe. But we'll get to that later.
Robbie team, right. You want Robbie team.
Yes.
Joe, Americans will definitely, I don't know, they want to come back. I know right now, they're already looking at 2021 because they didn't take it lightly from the faces of the guys. They will definitely come back.
The Americans have an attitude that everything American is world. It's just like when you talk, they say World Series. When two clubs in America, those two clubs, they are playing football and they call it World Series of play. But somehow, will I say, the world, somehow, whenever America is beaten, the world celebrates. Then whenever America, in any sport, in any activity, whenever America is part, the world celebrates. So the world celebrated the victory of Europe, despite America really being the mecca of mango. When you talk of street food, we call it food. Yes, we all know that Europe is the mecca of Ebo pool, Tembo pool. Eastern Europe is the mecca of Tembo pool, Ebo pool. Asia, Africa plays Ebo pool with Europe. But Americans have this attitude, if they don't dominate anything, they never want to get to war. They want to create their own 9-ball pool. And they've been playing it for years. Everywhere you go in America, it's all 9-ball pool they play. So it's so much joy that you created something and you go smack to it. That's good. And Mosconi Cup is nice for us to mention it that Mosconi Cup is the biggest televised pool tournament you have in the world. The biggest televised pool tournament. And it was nice watching it. It was nice also. This is the first time that Africa is having an opportunity of seeing it on television. Normally it's post-event, you see, we are following it on social, on YouTube and all of that. But this time, we could see them in the house, courtesy of They brought it to us and we watched it. And that was nice. And I think there was great reaction for that event in Africa.
It's going to have a multiplying effect, really, because, and that's where I'm going to come to you now. Why, as a player, like you said, I'm taking it from the fact that we now have this property on TV, and it's going to do something to the psyche of every young player in Nigeria now. You can see yourself playing the Mosconi Cup, something that looks like a Mosconi Cup.
Yes, I'll tell you, we need to have structures in place. And also structures and then the belief by the people who are involved. When I say the structures, tournaments are there, the players are there. The kids are there on the streets playing this game. The kids are in the pool bars, in the clubs, playing this game. Okay? And so what we need to do is package them, okay, and get them ready for tournaments. But beyond that as well, I remember in the 90s, in the early 2000s, we used to have a problem with the approval of the game of pool. Yeah. You're playing pool, you're running tournaments, and the police come and stop you and say you can't do it for one reason or the other. Best known to the police, maybe betting and criminal issues arising therefrom. But when you actually have a proper structure, this thing is coming on TV for goodness sake. We are seeing the benefits of this thing. It's creating entertainment, it's creating employment, it's creating commerce, it's creating so many things. So people tend to now see it as a worthy sport, Now imagine taking every weekend, for example, in the whole of Nigeria, imagine 100,000 kids playing this game. That's getting them engaged, that's getting them involved, that's creating entertainment, creating sporting activities, creating commerce, creating whatever, for the game. So we really have to take this thing by the scruff of the neck and say, look, we can do something about it. And that was why I was so happy that this thing came onto our screens for everybody to see that there is a possibility here, and we should ride with that.
All right, Joe, any possibility of in the future, this for the Mosconi Cup, it's about the Europeans and the Americans, maybe a Nigeria versus the West Africa versus the South Africa, or maybe the North Africa.
There's this association called the All African Pool Association. It is a member of the World Pool and Billiards Association that is based in South Africa. So already there's an association for pool in Africa, and it's already affiliated to the World Pool. Where the problem is creating the right structures that connect all the different associations in the different countries, such that there's this thing that we know about sports. Any sport that does not have a way of certifying or ranking their players tend not to pick
because that is an incentive.
In tennis, they'll tell you, Rafael Nadal is number one. In FIFA, every month, FIFA is releasing a ranking and all of this. So there is need for us to create a robust structure that can help Africa to articulate and build these inbound activities into major sports. There is need for us to do that. It is when we can do that, that is when we can now start talking about professionalism, we can now start talking about Africa against America. And whether it's 8 ball, like now in Africa, 9 ball pool is not popular. Okay? It's not popular in Africa. It's 8 ball pool. So there will be an incentive for people, African players, to play 9 ball pool. Then we can now look forward to inviting the Americans to come to Africa, and they'll come with the same attitude of condescending attitude. Then people like Wale will come and whip them.
I hope that will be my time.
I know it's possible the way we're going now, because I hope to see you guys to be around in the future to see this happen. But also the possibility of having these guys on our own terms, we play 8 ball here, very popular here. Who says they can't come play us?
Oh, but of course. I think I mentioned something about the structure first. That is where we start from. Create the structure, create the rules and regulations, create the terms of engagement by everybody, whether you're the player, whether you're the organizer, whether you're the broadcaster. Create a system, and then once you've articulated this position, you start to roll with it, and everybody is conversant with it. And then you want to affiliate with other players in other parts of the world. They must say that, okay, yes, you have something that is running that is similar to theirs. We are speaking the same language. That is important to know, that's important to understand. Now, let's even talk about this thing from the perspective of, it's going to cost a lot of money to put this thing together. So who buys into that property? That property of pool, 8-ball pool, for us to carry it beyond where it is now. We're talking sponsorship. Now, a sponsor who is coming up to look at, let's take one of the big breweries companies. They look at it and they say there's content in this thing. Okay? There are 20 million people following this thing. TV also looks at it and says, 20 million people playing this thing, so they want to be involved. You've created content. There's a property, created content. So set the terms of engagement with them as well. And then push this thing out to the world. So that structure is important. We can't just be wishing that we are doing things. No. We've got to take the bold step. We know it's there. The possibilities are there. We're seeing it on TV. How come the white man is doing it? How come the woman is doing it? And we're salivating. It's something we can be doing here. And we can be, rather than salivate, we can lick the plate. So it's very, very, very possible.
Joe, talking about what Wale just said, I just remember that there was a time even snooker was struggling at some point, but it's getting back now. You could see the pool is on TV, snooker is there is the Scottish Open, and all that is back on TV. Who says we also can take a cue from that?
That is why I join Wale, or I agree with Wale. Without a structure, this can never grow if everything is haphazard. So it is that structure, the World Pool and Billiards, World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association has created the structure. Now, what we need to do is here, in Africa, we need to create our own structure and align that structure with the international structure. Because during the All African Games, for the first time, they had snooker in Morocco, the All African Games. And a player from Africa, I can't remember his name too well now. Because he won a goal and because the way he played, he got an automatic talk card, if you call it. If you know how it's structured, you need a talk card to be able to talk around. He got a talk card and he's been invited to come and play at the top level for him to begin to grow on the professional level. So you see, we need to create a structure. Now, you just have a man that has just gone to play in the All African Game. But what structure produced him in the All African Game? How many federations, how many associations in Africa have, or how many Ministry of Sports have snooker as a federation, or have Q Sports as a federation? For us to have snooker, the amount of work that was done to get Morocco to put snooker as part of the sports, it was more. So we need I agree with why we need a proper structure for Q Sports in Africa, so that we can grow. And when we grow, then we can now connect with the world. We can't continue doing things haphazardly. It will not work.
All right, this is a conversation we will definitely be having. We will continue to have it on this show, no doubt, about how to structure the Q Sports in Nigeria, especially, and by extension, looking at the opportunities on the continent. All right, let's go straight to the Scottish Open, also snooker, when Mark Selby won. The main person that a lot of people would have touched, there was an upset as far as I'm concerned that happened there. Rudy O'Sullivan beaten by Mark Selby. And I don't know who's not happy about this, because for me, I said, I love upsets when I see one in sports, because that is exactly what gives me value for my money and time.
Yeah, true. I mean, what goes around comes around. I remember when Wale Osomo came onto the scene. Fantastic human being, let me put it that way. You know, he was a breath of fresh air so many years ago, and really upstaged the old school in those days. The likes of Steve Hendry, Steve Davis. I grew up at that time. Hendry, Davis, Jimmy White. You know, and Wale Osomo came, fantastic player. I think he probably has the highest number of 147 breaks. Yeah. You know, in my time, I think my highest break was probably 85 or something. You know, and so now somebody has come and given him a good hiding. But what I actually say is this: it's not enough to just beat the champion once. And you say that, oh yes, he's beating the champion. For you to continue to top the champion, you've got to be consistently. So the question is, will Selby be able to continue to trounce Wale Osomo? I believe that it's a good omen for us in the sport. You know, if we're coming back, we're saying let's do this thing all over again. We enjoyed ourselves so much while it lasted. So if it's a good opportunity for coming back, new kids on the block, new people dragged into this thing, I'm saying we're in for a good show.
That's it. All right, quickly, because before we go on a short break, I'm going to put you as far as this is concerned to Snooker Grand Prix also held, and it was Jeep Trump.
Yes.
One.
The magic key. As far as I'm concerned, the magic key. The Trump has done well for himself, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to snooker. He was once the British junior champion. One of the youngest players that have scored 140 as if achieving the 140 break.
It was going out of fashion.
It's just a joke. A great player, young talent, great talent. In the last 1 year, he's been doing some things on the snooker table that reminds us that one man cannot dominate his sport forever. And Trump has come to make a statement that he is there and he will rub shoulder with Sullivan, and anywhere Sullivan's name is called, his name also will be called. He does not get to the table afraid of anyone. Instead, he creates a fright. Whenever he comes to the table, there is a fright that people say, if it's a good day for him, oh my, it will be hell for the opponent. And he just did the Grand Prix. But the Grand Prix for me, I think in 2019, Ronnie was complaining that the circuit was too strenuous because they had cost to travel around the tour almost every weekend. Okay. Some of them are on the tour, they don't see their families for almost 2, 3, 4 weeks. And he was complaining so bitterly, and by hand saying, look, we can't be putting down this kind of money, and at the end of the day, you want to complain. If you are not ready for the hustle.
You say it's not a must that you participate in all the jobs, right? Yes, it's not a must.
Just give us a chance, and I think youthfulness is going to be here because Trump is still youthful. He's done well for himself. Congratulations to him for winning the Grand.
That was his 20th title and 6th this year. This pandemic year.
It's important. Let me tell you something. It's important because we're in Africa and we're in Nigeria. Everything Nigerians talk about. If you don't talk about the ego, you have not said anything. So it's important we mention it here.
The prize money.
There's a prize money for the Grand Prix. The prize money, if you win it, is £100,000. It's important. I like saying it because
did I tell you also that for winning the Scottish Open it is £70,000?
So you see, it is not only in football or in tennis that you have the big money. If you oil your skill and play at the highest level, you will drive that way first.
Wale is in his days. Wale to the former champion.
Wale was really
right. For me, should I say, for an individual sport like this, I think the image right is key to me. Because the amount of money you will make as an individual star compared to others, most of this is massive.
Let's before we get to the money. I think what's this phrase? They say where the only place you find where success comes before work.
It's in the dictionary.
It's in the dictionary.
Yeah.
So when you mention 100,000 pounds, for you to earn 100,000 pounds, you must have done 100,000 hours
or
graft. Serious, and you are not the only person working to get that 100,000. There are about another 100,000 people.
If not a million.
Trying to get that. So it is, when kids are watching this, so I want to earn that money, you've got to put in the work.
Yeah.
And there's another, it was Ronaldo who said this about 2 years ago, when they asked him, how come you're so good at all these things? And it was very instructive. He said, talent without work is just talent. It's just the potential. You must be ready to put in the work, graft, slave. It's like any other job. We all went to school. We all got our degrees of one thing or the other. You had to burn the midnight oil. When we were playing snooker, the level I managed to get to wasn't because I was also talented. I actually put in a lot of work, even though I was in school. So it goes without saying, young boys who are watching today, young boys and young girls, want to earn 100,000 pounds, must be ready to work. Must be ready to put in the work. Then you're talking about the image rights. It's a different ballgame entirely. People love a winner. If O'Sullivan or Saudi walks in here today, you want to sit by his side. You want to say, this is my guy, this is my friend. Now that sort of image translates into ego as well. If JJ Okocha, if you were to bring JJ Okocha to this show, you know what you are actually putting out to everybody? His image. Okay? And because you want people to watch your show, and that's why you brought the gentleman here. Okay? So you've got to pay for it. So when these kids who are watching, okay, if you want to get to that level, put in the work. Everybody wants to identify with you. They identify with you, you're successful. They identify with you, you earn the money.
That sums it up, and that is where we will short break at this point to be back. Don't go away, still Q Sports on Ascent TV. Welcome back. It's still Q Sports on Ascent TV, and this is where we will be looking at all the gist, all the things you need to know about the Q Sports in Nigeria. And it's good to have Wale Osomo still very much in the house with us. And by the way, Wale is a former national champion, and coincidentally, he is currently the #1 ranked player in the SPAA ranking. Yeah, talking about the Snooker Pool Player Alliance ranking. Maybe we should talk more about that. Joe, I'm going to come to you. This is the superstar right now on the show. So let me fans, like they will say, let me fans the star. Maybe you need to take us through when you started and, what really attracted you to this game? Because at some point, this game used to be very popular in Nigeria.
Well, how much time do we have?
Don't listen to you on the show.
Right.
Don't
No,
listen.
I just keep it short.
Okay.
I started going with my father to the club way back in the 70s, early mid 70s. He used to play billiards, and this was the Eagle Club in
Surulere.
Yes, Eagle Club in Surulere. As a matter of fact, even former governor of Lagos State,
Okay.
he would always claim as well that he used to play. Sorry, Mr. Governor. No vex, but it's amusing. And so I just picked up that interest, and I was fortunate enough to go to England and study, and then there was snooker. I remember in those days they didn't used to allow us to play snooker.
Okay.
Because we were too young. So you enter the snooker room and you just sit down, keep quiet, and just watch. We used to have the likes of Femi Robinson, former village headmaster. I'm not sure too many people will remember him today. When I say too many people, I'm talking about this generation.
Yeah, fair.
Ifeanyi was the village headmaster in the popular TV series. And so we used to watch them play, my father, and I just took interest in the thing. And then I got to school in England, there were snooker tables around, pool tables around, and I just took to the game like a dog takes to water. And I was surprised. Before that, I used to read books on snooker. So everything I needed to know about the game, even before I handled the cue, I had the theory in my head. And believe me, the first day I got on the table, I beat somebody in the game of the person was trying to teach me. And I beat him, And so it just happened like that. And then I used to do, they call it doodling. When you write, you do stuff on your, I'm in the classroom, kids, please don't do this. And if you do it, make sure you're smart. I used to draw snooker tables on my notes. If you look at some of my old banking and finance notes and my law school notes, you see snooker tables and drawing all sorts of angles. So when you see all those things I do on the table, when I play all those crazy shots, it's because these were things that I actually practiced when I was much younger. And so that's what I was saying earlier. If you really must get very good at what you're doing, you've got to devote time, attention, everything. You must throw everything in. And over the years, throughout the mid-80s, I came back late 80s. Throughout the 90s, I was fortunate enough to play at the top of my something in Nigeria. We used to have a lot of tournaments in Nigeria then. And the late Femi Robinson, God rest his soul, and he was also very instrumental in sponsorship of snooker in Nigeria in those days. We had the British Open, British Airways Open, we had the Nigerian Airways Open. Had a lot of tournaments, and around the country too. We used to go to Port Harcourt. I went to Port Harcourt to play a couple of tournaments. Warri, Jos, Ochi, Benin, Ibadan. It was a good circuit in those days. We had the Basan, the Snooker Association of Nigeria. There was a good structure that I was running in those days. But then over time, interest waned. Well, we hope that we'll be able to bring that back. Revive it very soon.
That's the spirit, I think.
And then you talked about SP. Yes. And I really thank Joe here. I think he's the pivot of the successful concept. And he called me about 2 years ago and said, listen, let's do something for this sport. Let's bring it back. There's a lot of talent on the streets of Lagos, and he actually cancelled that. If I could do something with it, he was willing to put his talent, treasure into the whole thing and to make this thing happen. And the concept has started. It's a very, very worthy concept, and we're at a good starting point. Let me put it that way. We're at a good starting point. They say I am the number one. I'll be very, very happy to relinquish that number one position. But for you to take it away from me, you've got to prove your mettle.
That's it. I love that. I love that. That's good. I love that. Joe, like you said, you've been driving this at the SPA, and right now, he also said something about the tournaments that we used to have in those days, and these days, all you see tournaments at the bar as well as the clubs. How do we bring back the good old days? Yeah, with what the SPA is trying to do now.
Yeah, those are some of the things. From the errors we made in the late 80s and the 90s, we are trying to correct them and to align our structure to that which we have internationally. So I remember when I was staying in the US, the American Pool Association, the American Pool Association called APA, they had a form of a structure that was computerized. So they had number one, they had the top player, they had the professional player. You know what, at every point in time, you know where you are on the ladder. At every point in time, you know what opportunities are available to you. And so if you say you are a pool player, you are either a leisure player, an amateur player, or what? Or a professional player. So with that in mind, returning back to Nigeria, like I said, I spoke with Wale based on his experience and everything. I played more like a leisure player. I also played the ball around the table and just enjoy oneself. But if we must have snooker or pool as a sport, it is important to introduce a rank. So the alliance, the business of the alliance is to rank players. So we only organize tournaments or we partner with those organizing tournaments for the primary purpose of ranking players. So right now, like Wale is ranked based on the points he has made in the last 6 this year. Okay. He's made about 1796.5 points, right. And that placed him in number 1. Number 2, just at his back, okay, trying to tap all the knowledge that he can get from him and trying to squeeze all the liquid he can get and experience. Okay. We have Daniel Ebunwe, who is ranked number 2, but his point is 1790.50. In a distant 3, we have Charles Agbezi. Charles Agbezi is 3rd, ranked 3. His point is 1535.2. And rank number 4 is Obaru Obuse, who's ranked number 4, but his point is 115.8. There are other players on the ranking. Some of them are far below. Some are even between, but they are not registered SPA players. So it is important that if you are a player and you want to get ranking, you play on SPA recognized tournaments. You will affiliate, you pay the SPA affiliation fee. Then your games you play, even when you are practicing, we put a value to that point when you are even practicing. Your tournaments, we take note of them. And at the end of the day, when we organize our major tournaments, we most of the time are invitational. So we don't think about you like wild cards. We don't think about you that, oh, I play Mushi, I am the best Mushi player, I am this. It gives me automatic rights to play in an SPA tournament. No, it is not only because you can shoot your pool. There are ethics, there are values, there are norms, there are things you must follow, you must accept for it to be an SPA player.
So anywhere in the country now, you can be ranked.
Yes, because the SPA ranking is computerized. So we have them in bars. So from the bars, we are picking you out and we are hoping to bring on. Now we are hoping in 2019 and 2020 we brought them to, if not for the COVID stuff, but hopefully in 2020 with the vaccine, success of the vaccine, we pray it really work. We cannot have them because SPA tournaments like the top 4, the Taba, all of that, those are invitational tournaments. We use your ranking to what? To invite you. So if your ranking is far low, just forget the invitation. But if your ranking is pretty high, then it's only when people like our big Masquerade says he's not playing, then we cannot give it to the next man. Otherwise, you go and meet him and let's see how.
Is that possibility? All right. I know you also been looking forward to a lot of tournaments. You know, maybe 2021, and I'm aware we have for example, the HIBA pool tournament is taking place already. The Lagos Country Club is also one hot spots when you talk about pool and snooker. And what are we going to be in terms of participation for you as a player? What are you looking forward to for 2021? Because already I know, apart from just enjoying yourself, you get involved in leisurely, I don't know where. So.
Well, leisurely, yes. But then again, we always say this about other sports and other sports people. So I might as well say it for myself. It's an opportunity to give back to the sport. Okay. I really enjoyed myself when I was coming up and playing it. This now really is an issue of, look, when tournaments are coming up, just to, as it were, be the target or be the focal point for people, you know, to say, okay, I played Wale, and I whooped Wale, you know, I've got his scalp. I mean, there's still a lot of players who say that now. Obara, for example, will say, Prof is my wife now. You know, and that is good. That is good. So I would always make myself available. You know, I mean, these tournaments come up, you know, show up and you know, do my own little bit that I can do. And I think I still have a bit of skill in me to be able to win swimming in these tournaments. So I'm not in retirement yet. Okay. You know, so this tournament's come up, I'll take part.
I know there's a massive pool of talented players out there, especially when you look at teenagers who also already showing stuff that they show that what they made of, what they have plans. Because I need to talk to you as a former, and also need to talk to you as someone who's putting together the SBA, who's driving the SBA. What are the plans? Because the only thing that can give a future to this game right now is by tackling those young teenagers who also love this game. I've seen them play on the street. What are you planning for them?
Structured tournaments that are packaged properly. We should have pool and snooker on television. Not really, we are not too concerned about having it on television. We want to watch things like the Mosconi Cup. We want to watch the Scottish Opens. We want to watch the Grand Prix. But we want to also watch our people. I want to watch Wale. Okay. I want to watch him. He's got he does magic on the table. I want to watch him on television. So there's a serious work going on in us getting televised, no matter how small it is, our tournament package in the televised version. So we can put it on television. So we make idols of only foreign people. We should also make idols of our local people. And above all, we want to grow the sport. So in 2021, we are going to have a lot of tournaments. We are already discussing the international body. We want to have what we call an African tour in Nigeria, and the African tour, the prize money will be good, with the hope that we can bring that players from outside Nigeria will want to come to Nigeria and come and play the African tour. And we won't open it to just anybody on the street to come and play. So if you are not an SPA player and we've not studied you, we've not mentored you, we've not mentored you, and you do not believe in our philosophy, you cannot go on the table and go and bet or go and trade your game. We will not accept it. We will not accept it. But 2021 is going to be great, I believe, with support of Wale and other great players that are on the SPA, and great things will come in 2021, that I can assure you.
Alright, before we go, maybe I should ask you, your word, are you finding any academic soon, especially looking at the
Oh yes, we have plans to bring in pool and snooker. We actually have a sports academy. Unfortunately, I also run a school, and so it's actually captured within the school. sport. And you see, sports is not just about that game alone. Joe mentioned something about ethics, mentioned something about values. You see, you need to also teach that. And a lot of the time, most proficient sports players or sportsmen and women, they say they come off the streets. Okay? But then when you're bringing them into this enclave of a structured environment, they have to come and learn the norms, the nuances, they have to learn the lingo. When you see all the sports people, when they perform one way or the other, they put the microphone to them and ask them questions. And so how do they address the audience, the larger audience, the people who are betting, the people who are sponsoring, the people who are looking up to them. You see, so those are things that you teach along the sport itself. So yes, we do have a sports academy, in place. And we're ready or we're willing to take up any sport, and in particular snooker pool players, in order to make sure that we enhance whatever values that we come out of this.
Alright, I must say thank you very much, guys, for joining me on this edition. Why? It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
I enjoyed every bit of the show.
So much.
And Joe, thank you very much for sacrificing your time and for coming, leaving behind the camera to come in front of the camera.
It's nice. It's nice talking sports. It's very, very nice, exciting. It's nice that Q Sports is coming back. It went off for a while, and it's nice that Q Sports is coming back. And I can assure you, I think great things will be delivered.
Definitely. Until I come away next time, keep finding the pockets and make sure you put so.